Good evening, and thank you for joining me for my English 221 literary criticism honors enhancement of analyzing both of these poems, Let America Be America by Langston Hughes and The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, as well as my own personal poem that relates to both the messages of the other two poems. So first, we'll get started analyzing the Langston Hughes poem on the left side. So this poem presents a powerful message that speaks to this idea that everyone has in some sort of way of the American dream. And it touches on the harsh realities faced of marginalized groups and how we can use that to unify us together as a country and as a people in order to go forward and produce better outcomes for everybody. So this poem uses a lot of different poetic devices. Number one being repetition. This idea of him keep saying, "Let America be American again. Let America be America again." Wants us. Langston Hughes is telling us that he wants us to go back to these ideals that America was founded upon, right? And being able to make the American dream a reality. Also using allusion. The poem alludes to the struggles of different communities in America. For example, saying he bears the scars of slavery or that he's the red man driven from the land as a reference to Native Americans. As many know, red is associated with Native American culture. Um, this picture obviously is a political cartoon depicting a bunch of people kind of walking across this bridge, and it says it's the American dream, and you see the bridge is slowly having cracks underneath, like eventually it will fall down. Eventually it will no longer be an operating bridge. Eventually it will no longer really be an American dream, right? So in and of itself, that also is a metaphor, right? But speaking of that, this poem also uses metaphors, right? The poem indirectly relates to the strugglings of different communities and relating to himself, right? He describes himself, I am, this is what he says, I am the poor white man, I am the red man driven from the land, I am the family of the slaves bearing the slave scars, right? These are all things he says that he is. But what he really means by that, what he says when he is, he's saying that he understands and he's a part of the struggle of different communities in America, right? So this idea is that we should stop thinking that Black people have these struggles, white people have these struggles, natives have these struggles, right? The idea is to try to get behind this unifying message of, well, we all struggle as one, right? We all should feel each other's pain. We might not be suffering from the same thing, but at the end of the day, we're all suffering, and you're sharing in that enough, right? Another one, anaphora, the repetition of the phrase I am, again, going back to him relating it to different marginalized groups. I am this, I am that, creates that sense of unity, right? So skipping over my poem, we're actually going to go to The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. This was actually done during President Biden's inauguration in 2021 and evokes a lot of imagery as well as powerful poetic devices that creates a narrative around hope, resilience, and the collective responsibility of Americans as Americans, right? Again, metaphors, lines such as find light in the never ending shade is comparing the path we're going on to a country of darkness. We're going down this route of darkness, right? And Americans must find this light. Imagery, Gorman comparing our struggles as Americans to a sea we must wade, right? Like a ocean we must cross, right? These things are something that we will have to get to. These things are something that have to be addressed, and the earlier we address them, the more we'll be able to uh, wade the sea or wade out the storm, right? Repetition. Gorman's constant use of the words "we" and "our" give the reader a sense of unity. I'm not analyzing the same poem, right? Both these poems have a lot of overlap with their central ideas, and that's why you see a lot of these similar or same poetic devices being used in similar ways. This is a unique one though. Enjambment is not ending all stanzas or lines kind of with a breath. When you're writing something like a poem, the idea is that each stanza acts on its own to form one cohesive story. But in this, it's almost like a stanza just kind of ends and goes right into the next one, like a abstract flow, if you will, right? And that actually creates a higher pace, constantly flowing, right? Almost like it's a lot. It's like it keeps hitting you. And the reason, and you can listen to her speak, it was at the inauguration, you can listen to it. And the reason she does this is because that high pace, right? It's like, boom, you're climbing a hill, right? The hill we climb. For me, it would have been mountain, but mountains are a little more extravagant. But finally, we go into my poem, right? My poem I called Glory. I'll read it and then I'll analyze it. So everywhere else, they all look the same names, all subject to matching pain. But here we all blame, even when we have the same aim. But me, I dream, a place where everyone's seen, our struggles are wiped clean, all working on the same team. We are all different people, an idea common but lethal, different excerpts of the same story, of our different pains but the same glory. Liberty, freedom, and justice for all. Was that not our founding, our motto, our law? So why this anger edging towards our downfall? But here I stand, I see you all, right? So going up, right? Everywhere else, they all look the same names, all subject to matching pain. As a reference, the idea that America is not only but the only country that is truly a melting pot. We don't have an ethnic American background. Americans are from all different ethnic backgrounds, and we've broadened the scope of that ethnic background throughout our entire history. In the beginning of United States history, even Irish people, right? Or Italians, right? These people were not seen as Americans, right? So with that in mind, you realize the unique position that America is in on the world stage. But here we all blame, even when we have the same aim. We're all aiming for the same thing. We all want success. We all want our country to be as best as it can be, right? But we're all blaming each other, even though we should all really be unifying one another. But me, I dream a place where everyone's seen, our struggles are wiped clean, and we're all working for the same team. Again, speaking on that unity, right? We're all different people, right? And you can see quotes, right? These are in quotes because it's something that you might have heard people say, or it's just this idea that's very prevalent. An idea once common but lethal. Many argue it's still a common idea, right? But it's lethal, right? Lethal. I don't use that word lightly, right? It's killing, right? Because it kills this idea of an American dream, right? That you see how all these poems are beginning to connect. Liberty, freedom, and justice for all. Was that not our founding, our motto, our law, right? And when you notice that, again, it's all speaking to the same idea, not unlike the other two poems. We're going back to this ideas that the country was founded upon, this equality, right? And so why this anger edging towards our downfall? So this idea that this poem, if we keep going with this mindset that we're all different, we all don't share the same struggle, right? If we keep going down the road with this mindset, we're going to end what America is as we know it. And by here I stand, I see you all, resonating a powerful message of there are people out there, not just me, obviously. There's so many people out there that see what Langston Hughes, what Amanda Gorman is talking about. And then this idea that we all might struggle, right? But at the end of the day, we should all reside in the fact that we struggle. We should all take solace in the fact that we all struggle in different ways, but we all struggle together. So unity through division, right? Thank you all so much for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good night.